I'm James,
I'm Carrie.
I'm Lacey.
And I'm Lee at Just One More Fix.
a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network.
Just like the show you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of each individual host.
Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready, because geekiness begins in 3,
2, 1.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 322 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. This is recorded live on Sunday, July 29th, 2018. It's almost August, guys. I don't like it. It means all the kiddies come back, because I live in a college town, so I can't be like, I want to go downtown and get pizza and be there in 5 minutes. Then it's going to take like 15 minutes, and I can't park, and it's a total first world problem.
Yeah, I have to drive by a high school on my way to work. I like summer because it saves me like 5 minutes on my drive time because there's less idiots between me and my workplace.
It's a first world problem, you capitalist.
Well, I do live in a capitalist country.
Well, I mean, that's
And in
what
the
first
first
world
world.
means. That's what first world means. First
So
world.
then-
I think second world's communism.
So you
third
stuttered,
world
or
was third world.
why did you say it twice?
I
Third
don't,
world would be undeveloped.
I don't think second world's communist, but I could be in.
No. First world, second world. They all talk about like what kind of like systems they use. It's not about like money. That's what people don't get. Look it up, sheeple.
So I'm looking up. Second World was the former communist bloc consisting of the Soviet Union. You are correct, Willie. The former
Willie knows
industrial
some things.
socialist states known as the Eastern Bloc.
See, Willie knows some things.
I'm sorry I doubted you, Willie. I apologize. I give you my deepest apologies.
But do you know what else I know?
I'm really afraid to know the answer to this, but sure, let us know what else you know.
should be. So I'm a little afraid. I'm a little afraid for Disney. They've been spending a lot of money on things, right?
A
They
shitload,
bought
if you will.
Fox. They
What do
spent
you-
how much buying Star Wars?
What are you fucking up my news? What are you doing?
No. I'm not fucking up your news. I didn't even see what it was. No, trust me. And,
$4
and
billion.
They spent how much?
Star
$4
Wars
billion.
and Lucasfilm was $4 billion.
I mean, to try and recoup some of it, they even hired out Mickey Mouse to Richard Gere for something.
Oh, I
They
see
wouldn't
what-
really say what.
I see.
Yeah,
what
it
he
was a
did
Disney
there.
joke. Yeah, it's another Disney joke for this week, motherfucker.
I'm not laughing, so I'm not calling that a joke.
I don't care about your laughter.
I'm sorry, guys. It's gonna be one of
Yeah,
those
we
kind of
noticed.
weeks.
We fucking noticed.
I want Disney's dead frozen head to be spinning around in his grave.
But then we don't get Marvel or Star Wars.
Well, apparently we're not getting good Marvel because we ain't getting Guardians 3 the way we needed it.
That's a separate conversation, and we did touch on that last week. Do we want to bring it back up this week?
I said I'm continuing it on until they fix the problem. Do you not remember this?
I don't. I
Yeah.
probably just repressed it.
If you abuse your girlfriend, you can still work for AMC. If you beat your wife, you can still do 8 pirate movies for Disney. But oh dear God, don't make jokes on Twitter 10 years ago and then become a better person and delete them yourself. Because that's worth firing you for. Fuck Disney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
We were never going to get any Disney money, but we knew that coming
Nope.
into it.
I'll beat the shit out of your girlfriend, and people will still love your music too.
Well, that's a given.
And you, they're like, oh, he's still a good person.
And Team Breezy can all eat a dick. I hope they all die. They're all awful people.
I just don't like the hypocrisy that comes into play on so much of this stuff. That's all.
Oh, the fact that it was a rapist that pointed out James Gunn's tweets and got him fired?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, charged with rape. I don't actually know if he was actually convicted, but
I'm just going to call him a rapist. It doesn't, since, facts don't matter anymore. Nobody gives a fuck about the truth, and they all live on hypocrisy. I'm just going to call him a rapist.
yeah, I just don't understand some of the mindsets that come around, especially in the James Gunn one, where some people say, if you make a pedophile joke, that makes you a pedophile. And I'm like, but no, haven't you
There are
heard
people more.
any
There are people
state-
more offended by jokes about pedophilia than actual fucking pedophiles.
Yeah, I mean, but there's stand-up comedians that have built their career on awkward, uncomfortable, racial, and child jokes and things like that. So,
I had an argument online with someone saying that there was stuff you can't joke about. I still believe with the George Carlin line. You can joke about anything.
Yeah,
it depends on the joke and your ability as a comedian.
Yeah,
James Gunn is not a good comedian.
That's what comedy is, though, is you take uncomfortable, potentially awkward subjects and you try and make it funny. And part of what makes it funny is it's taboo.
Pain plus time equals comedy.
I mean, the thing is, how popular, especially if you look at South Park at the time, how popular were Jerry Sandusky and Penn State jokes?
Oh hell yeah.
Because someone made a Jerry Sandusky joke. Does that make them a pedophile? I don't know.
It makes him a pedophile.
Well, my most hilarious thing was that Roseanne had to put in her 2 cents about it.
Oh, God. She just won't shut up. She keeps doubling down.
Yeah. I did like the Bobcat thing, though, where he said, Sailor Pullen brought up in the chat room, where Bobcat said Disney should pull his name for the new park ride because he's said some bad things in the past. And he also happens to be good friends with James Gunn.
Yeah, he's the voice of one of the things in Hercules, the little demon things.
Yeah, and I guess they just built a brand new ride, and he just got done recording voiceover stuff for it and told him, no, don't use my voice. I've said bad things in the past. I'm a comedian.
It's the same thing I said last week. It's that this was so that they didn't have to deal with the negative press, basically. It's setting a bad precedent because it's not like Disney didn't know about this, considering James Gunn had said, 6 years he issued apologies for these same things. It's widely published out there. Yeah. So this was all a PR move. It wasn't necessarily because this was bad. It was more of, we don't want to deal with this, it seems like to me.
It was like chicken shit. Yeah, it's like this PR move was in the opposite direction they wanted it to go in.
Yeah, I think Sailor Pullen has kind of nailed it. My stance on offensive jokes is simple. If it's funny, you ain't in trouble.
But also on the flip side, I can kind of understand why they did it. They wanted this Fox merger to go smoothly without anything going wrong.
That was a theory that was floated out there last week. Yeah.
Like, I can see that. And maybe hey, after it's done, we'll just rehire you.
It's a matter of wait and see what they do with the property. I know things are getting gradually more awkward as it goes on. If you guys haven't noticed, Dave Bautista's been fairly vocal on Twitter that he is not a fan of the James Gunn hiring. You've had other cast members from Guardians of the Galaxy state a bit more restrained opinions.
Firing.
You
said hiring.
Excuse me.
I wasn't.
You've had other cast members have a bit more understated comments, but pretty much echo the same thing, because I believe both Zoe Saldana and Chris Pratt have put tweets out that pretty much indirectly said, "Hey, we support James Gunn."
Yeah, like I said, I still want to see if they get them all on set for Guardians 3 and some other director who, it won't be his fault, but if some other director's there trying to run that set, like if Dave Bautista really sits down in a chair and goes, you know what, fuck you, I'm not doing this. Contractor, no, I want to see anybody on the set try to make him make a movie. Good fucking luck with that. Dave Bautista will go back to wrestling and just fucking tell Disney to eat a dick.
He'll just keep acting. He's been doing other work besides Guardians.
Yeah. And he's gotten so much better. Did you watch his first couple of movies?
Yes.
He was so bad.
He was good as Brass Body, though.
That whole movie needed some help. But I mean, there's an arc of acting skill, and his just took off like a fucking rocket. I mean, he was a fine actor as a wrestler, but for actually becoming other characters in movies, like his first couple of films, there were some really bad, scripts and bad directors mixed with a new actor. But yeah, by the time Guardians, after 2 movies, like he's fucking fantastic as Drax. Like he is so good as that character.
Yeah, he's really good as that character. So as we wrap up this topic, Sailor Pullen does bring up a good point in the chat room, saying, let's suppose Disney wants me to make stuff for them one day. Why would I want to work for a studio that I'm not sure would have my back in the event of any trouble?
Money. I
mean, that's fair. You could rake in a crap load of cash.
I'm sorry, Disney, for everything I said. Give me that Disney money.
You don't sign anything with some bullshit morality clause in it.
I doubt there was a morality clause in anything that was signed there.
I'll bet you there is. A director working for a Disney property, I'll bet you there's a morality clause in that contract.
But the bigger thing is, I don't know how that works, considering what he got fired for is something Disney knew about already.
Yeah, but then they can now say they're offended by it.
That he had deleted from his Twitter account that people dug up out of like archive sites and things like that. So, I don't know. The whole thing still feels uncomfortable to me.
It's complete bullshit.
So we boycotting Guardians 3, right? Unless they fix that, right?
Well, there's no official date for Guardians 3 yet.
But as of right now, we're boycotting it, right?
Depends on who's directing it.
Bachman,
Yep.
you're gonna ruin your streak, right? For this.
No, I never said that. That streak is 50 movies deep, going back to Blade 1, man. It ain't dependent on any one director.
We'll see how much you can stand tall with this, Bachman.
Yeah, we'll see.
Here's the inevitable. Here's the thing we haven't talked about. Rather, there's no guarantee they do it now. They could just be like, there's too much controversy on this. People are too cranky about the fact, especially cast members, that we fired him. We're going to sit on it for a few years. We're not going to make one, and they might not do it. Who knows?
Yeah, just delay it 2 years and then bring James Gunn back.
Yeah, it could be that
After
too.
they own half the world and no one can do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what route they're going, but it'll be interesting to see, because I don't think the Phase 4 roadmap officially had Guardians 3 on it yet, but I'm not 100% sure.
Didn't they say something about having it set the tone for Phase 4?
That's what they'd said at some point. It was supposed to set the tone, and that James Gunn was working on the script for that and the things that would kick off the Phase 4 cosmic end of things. But who knows? Maybe they refocus that and they do the sequel to Captain Marvel sooner and use that to do it. I don't know.
Well, plus with my news of the week, the entire Phase 4 thing is going to change anyways.
Yeah, it's all going to change. We'll get to that here in a second, but who knows, guys? Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen, but what I do know is going to happen is we're just going to roll on in to the news of the week.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
That's right, everyone. It's that part of the show where we run down what was, in our mind, the most interesting geeky or nerdy news or things that have impacted us most in the past week. That is not the James Gunn firing, because we already talked about that last week and this week, and it will probably continue to keep coming up as things go on. I have no idea.
New Disney joke next week.
New Disney lawsuit pending the week after that, I'm sure.
Bring it on, Disney. Bring it on.
So
You can have all this, Disney. All my riches could be yours. It will refinance your whole payment of the whole Fox deal.
For one executive's desk.
yes.
maybe a footing for it.
A footstool?
There you go. Oh yeah, my life will be a good footstool.
That just pays for one drawer in the desk. That's all.
It's a really nice desk.
One
It's
drawer.
really nice
super
wood. It's
fancy.
mahogany.
It is. And it's stained to a very nice color. They didn't paint that bitch. They stained it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's how you know it's good.
That's what I'm talking about. And you can see the wood grain through the stain, so it's some fancy stuff.
Ooh la la.
Speaking of fancy stuff, Willie, what do you got for your news?
My fancy thing is that Overwatch released a new character Tuesday.
Bum, bum, bum.
Hammond, a.k.a. Wrecking Ball, a.k.a. Miley Cyrus, a.k.a. Hammond, Montana.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I like that last one. I just came out with that one yesterday. I loved it. Hammond, Montana. But yeah, he's pretty much a hamster in a ball.
So have you gotten to play as Hammond, Montana? Excuse me.
Yep, Hammond, Montana.
So as our official Overwatch expert for the show, because Anthony and I don't play near as much as you do, what are your initial impressions of Hammond the Wrecking Ball?
Interesting. I'm not sure he's gonna. I'm not about to main him quite yet. Mostly because tanks I'm okay with, but I'm not the best of. I gotta play with him a bit more. I like the way how he drops his balls in more ways than one. Well, one of his moves is he can slam down from up high, and he just drops his whole ball and slams on the ground. Another one is his ultimate. He just has a bunch of balls go like minefield, pretty much. Drops little mine balls.
But no, it's a minefield because it's actually called a minefield, and he drops a minefield.
Yeah,
You just like
the
saying
shape of
balls.
balls. Yeah, balls. They're a little sweaty too. It's a bit humid in here. I can't help it.
Willie likes sweaty hamster balls.
Well, they do call me Richard Gere for a reason.
Gross. Gross.
So has
Very gross,
has
dude.
the introduction of this new character, changed the meta of the game any? Has things seemed any unbalanced or things like
Big
that when you're
time.
playing?
Well, I mean, it hasn't really affected the meta too much because anytime they release a new character or rework a character, they're not in competitive till they get some workings in. Usually like 2-3 weeks.
So you're still
they're
in
not-
like the free play, for lack of a better term.
Well, pretty much, yeah. You can play them in a quick play in the arcade. They've actually pulled out no limits, just straight up, so everybody could be Hammond at once.
Interesting. Get everyone used to it and tired of it, so not everyone's trying to use them in game.
Yeah, because I mean, everyone wants to try it to see if only one person in a team of 12, like in a team of 6 can use them. Then what's the point of you can't really learn them then too well.
That's fair.
And they also did some reworking to Sombra. She's the one who could go invisible, but now she can stay invisible the entire time. So that's a reworking. But the only thing is she cannot contest a point if she's invisible. So there's that. You have
So
to
you can't just camp out invisible and hope to hide and get a point. That makes sense.
Yep. So you have to be visible for that, but she's still hacking people, and those fucking hacks. God damn it. They hurt so much.
It's a really annoying character. But not as annoying as Douche Fist.
I'm still playing a lot of more Reaper. I've learned a lot of Reapering. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. And I'm excited about the new reworkings that they're about to have out for old Torbjorn, or as I like to call him, Toblerone. Just like the candy bar.
I like the candy bar. It's delicious.
Yeah, but yeah, they're about to change his thing where instead of just placing a turret, you throw out a little thing and it'll just uncompact to a turret. It's not like you can throw it far. You can throw it maybe 4 or 5 feet. And after a certain amount of time it'll just become a level 2. You used to have to pull out your hammer and beat it to make it a level 2 turret. But is this gonna ruin where Torbjorn doesn't have a hammer now, since he's not ever going to... I guess he could use it to, give it health back, I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen it live, so I think it might only be in the PTR. It's about to hit the PTR. PTR is public testing round.
It's only on
PC.
PC. Yeah, Unit Lost, I think he said it's about to hit the PTR. I don't think he said it was quite on there yet, the changes for Toblerone, but they were just talking about them.
Yeah, I'm not 100. Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure on that, so... That's one of my top characters. That was my second golden weapon I got. For those of you who don't actually play Overwatch, Chris.
I have not played near as much as the rest of you. I've probably got maybe 10 hours in on the game so far.
You can buy golden weapons for all the characters with competitive points, with 3,000 competitive points. And it takes a while to earn. You have to play competitive mode to earn those points. You actually have to get a win in competitive mode to get those points. You don't get that much for each win. The big way to get them is to be a higher rank in competitive ranking, and at the end of the season, then they give you out a bunch of competitive points there. So that'd be the fastest way to do so. So far, I have 3 golden weapons.
Does a golden weapon change as just like a trophy kind of thing?
It just makes your gun golden, shiny.
Okay, gotcha. I just didn't know if it changed any of the gameplay and made it slightly more powerful or less recoil or something like that.
No, I was playing with an annoying fucking kid that said, "Oh, I got a golden Reinhardt hammer. It means it's going to do 50% more damage." I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Willie was like, "You shut your face. You don't know what you're talking about."
Well, mostly because he was a little kid and he was being fucking annoying.
So you pimp slapped him over the internet?
You goddamn right. Any more questions about Hammond, Montana?
I can't think of any more.
Then move on to the next goddamn news if you're just going to naysaying me so much.
I didn't naysay. I just pointed out a flaw in your
naysaying.
statement.
It's not a flaw. It's a feature.
Oh, boy. All right, so let's go to the next news story. I'll go next. MoviePass. I've talked about a lot on this. I've been a big proponent until recently when things started to get a little less cost-effective might be the best way to put it. So Thursday night, I don't know if you guys had realized, MoviePass had an issue where nobody could use their cards because they had no money. So MoviePass couldn't afford to pay MasterCard, who issues their cards, the money to buy theater tickets. So what did they do? They took a $5 million cash proceed that evening immediately so that they could try and keep the doors open. Now that worked, and everyone could go and see that, but there was a lot of anger, uncomfortableness, and concern on the internet as everyone's like, What the hell? I tried to go see a movie Thursday night. None of this stuff worked. What the hell are you guys doing there? Well, MoviePass did issue an update, a formal statement, and said, first, we sincerely apologize for the inconvenience caused from the temporary outage in the app over the past day. We've handled the issues on the back end, and our app is now up and running with stability at 100%. Hint, it's because they had no money, not because the app didn't work.
Oh, the app didn't work because they had no money.
Yes, so
fair enough.
They then put this little bombshell out there. They said, as we continue to evolve the service, certain movies may not always be available in every theater on our platform. This is no different than other in-home streaming options that often don't carry the latest shows or movies that may be available on other services. For example, if you ever find Game of Thrones on Netflix, you can't ever find Game of Thrones on Netflix, nor is season 4 of Schitt's Creek available on there yet. Here at MoviePass, we have strived to make every movie in theaters available to you as part of your subscription, and peak pricing, has allowed, and this will allow us to do so going forward. Yeah, unless you want to watch Mission Impossible, because they have blacked out Mission Impossible in all theaters. I went to go see Mission Impossible yesterday on a Saturday. Couldn't see it on MoviePass. It told me it was not supported. You go on some of the MoviePass Reddit threads. MoviePass is not allowing people to go see Mission Impossible. Because why? Because everyone wants to go see the new release. So that's a crap load of tickets sold that they probably can't afford.
Yep.
And that's a really shitty comparison in their bullshit statement.
Well, and
their comparison is you can't watch Game of Thrones on Netflix. Game of Thrones isn't available on Netflix.
Yes.
That would be like going to Netflix, Game of Thrones is there, and when you click on it, Netflix says, fuck you, you can't watch this.
So let's go to...
More like watching a Netflix original on HBO Go or something. Like,
yeah. So if you go to MoviePass.com and say you wanted to sign up, the big bug at the top of the screen says, unlimited, any theater, any movie, any day, only $9.95 a month.
Oh, it still says that?
It still says that, but I can't go watch Mission Impossible right now.
But they definitely changed their whole thing like weeks ago, didn't they?
Right. So we were talking about, last week we touched on the fact they've introduced peak pricing, the surge pricing that comes into play. And as you go through the Reddit threads, it seems like if it's a showing before noon, you can probably get in without peak pricing. But anything after noon, there's peak pricing. And where I live, it was a $3.40 upcharge to go and see a movie that was peak pricing. And that was generally the relatively recent releases. But I do know for a fact last weekend that Jurassic World...
There's the front page of their website right now.
Jurassic World...
Is there any asterisk?
There is no asterisk.
Nope.
Ooh, that's false advertising doing right there.
Yes. So I do know for a fact last week, Jurassic World was not a peak priced movie. There was no issue if you wanted to see it. It was part of your $9.95 subscription. I almost said prescription. So I'm on the MoviePass app right now for the movie theater just down the street from me. And every movie on here has the red peak pricing icon on it. That included Jurassic World at the top of the screen that last weekend was not. Ant-Man and the Wasp I've seen, so it shouldn't let me. Mission Impossible premium screening is not supported. I can't even see it in standard definition. Kind of crappy. So let me go pose a hypothetical. Say I want to go see the Hotel Transylvania 3 at noon showing. When I click this, it tells me there's a $5.60 peak pricing surcharge fee for this. For a movie that cost me $8.50 as a matinee. So really, you're saving me $3, but I'm paying $9.95 a month to save $3 on that. Here's where it gets even more fun. Say I want to go at 5 p.m. Now it's a $6 surcharge to go and see Hotel Transylvania 3.
Jesus.
Yeah. So Jurassic World, which last weekend had no peak pricing associated with it. I tried to go see the 12:10. It is $5.60 peak pricing to go and see that. If I wanted to go to the 9:10 this evening, it's $6. So basically what is happening here is they ain't got no money. So they are turning peak pricing on for everything. And if you go back to the CEO's original comments on peak pricing, it was supposed to be a small fee for new release movies that there's a lot of demand for, which he described as a couple bucks originally. So the implication there was $2 to $3 potentially for some of these movies. No.
Well,
Every movie on screen today has a minimum $5.60 peak pricing surcharge fee associated with it because I want to see a movie on a Sunday. That's bullshit.
Yeah, and it should have been like $2 to $3 for the movies that came out brand new that weekend. After the second weekend, none of those movies should have peak pricing. And that's fucking ridiculous.
I live in a college town with the college students gone, so there is not as much demand for the movie theater. I went to Mission Impossible yesterday afternoon for a matinee. It was like a 3:40 showing, and the theater was maybe a third of the way full. Now, if you go in and break down their terms of service, they talk about how peaks pricing isn't based off of the region you're in and how many tickets have demanded it, or your specific theater, rather. It's more about the geographical region and how many people have ordered tickets if it's past their threshold for how many they have allotted. So if they set their threshold to 1 ticket per each one of these, you're going to hit peak pricing immediately. And this is not a new development, this peak pricing. I've been watching it the past couple weeks on the Reddit threads and things like that. For the bigger movies that have been released within the last 3 weeks, they were all peak pricing. But these fees have gone up and up and up for what the peak pricing is. I paid $3.40 to go see Ant-Man. I was annoyed, but I could live with that. If I wanted to go see something like Uncle Drew, there was no upcharge on that because it wasn't peak. But
you should go see it.
It's not even in the theaters anymore. I can't see it. But as the weeks have gone on, these peak pricing levels have gone up, and they have applied to more and more movies. And after their debacle on Thursday, where they had no money, they have literally turned peak pricing on for everything today. And here's the other connection. I checked yesterday when we went to go see Mission Impossible what peak pricing was on, and it was only on the movies that had released in the past couple weeks. So magically today on a Sunday, which is not as big a movie day as a Saturday, everything's in peak pricing mode. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. I think it's more of just a sign of, oh, we're about to go under because we have no money. We need to try and get as much money as we can to try and stay alive. And it's not going to happen. This was the straw for me. I looked at that and said, it's not cost effective for me. They didn't have a sustainable business model. We said that all up front. So it was ride the wave. Well, the wave's over for me. There's nothing they can do that keeps me on here, because if I'm paying $5.50 per movie I've got to see on top of a $9.99 a month subscription fee, I've got to go see at least 3 movies, maybe 4, before it's actually cost effective for me to save money. And I'm not going to go see 4 movies most months. I'd rather just go to a matinee and pay my own money, or look into some of the other services like Cinemia and things like that, where you get 12 tickets for $60 up front or something like that. I would even look into the AMC Pass, or what's the AMC program? I forgot the name of it. Naki mentioned it in our group chat. But AMC has their own subscription service, and if our AMC theater didn't suck total ass in this area, I would sign up for that. But it's terrible. I don't want to go into a theater that smells like sewage and is always dirty. So I think the end is here for MoviePass. A lot of the experts, if you go and look on like Business Insider and things like that, the folks that look at stock prices and things like that have said, if MoviePass makes it another week, we'll be shocked. So if you guys want, go enjoy the wave now. Hopefully you're on a monthly plan, because if you're someone who paid for the yearly plan in December, I don't think you're going to get the prorated refund coming back your way if they go under. You're just going to be out the $100.
Ooh.
Which sucks, because, yeah, luckily I just canceled my monthly.
They don't bill me again until August 14th, so I'm going to ride the wave until the 14th and see if there's any stuff I want to see that is not peak priced. But it looks like, as of this morning at least, everything is peak priced now in an effort to try and keep the company alive. And so I guess the question here, I'm complaining a lot about this. Sound like a total first world whiner, complainer, bitch. I'm not getting what I expected out of this. Is there a better price point? Say they had made it $20 a month, and it was the old model of see as many movies as you want, but only one time, things like that. Would you stay on board for $20? I'd think about it. 15, I'd probably do it for sure.
I mean, $20, that's just that's the cost of a movie and a half, isn't it?
It depends on what time of day you go. Like my local theater I go to, it's $8.50 for a matinee.
A movie and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm counting that as a half.
I think the price point could be evolved, but I don't think changing the price point is going to keep them active. I think their plan of how to take people's data, being able to link like Facebook data to the movies we go and see and things like that, it didn't pan out. They couldn't sell that stuff. So they're bleeding cash. I think the end is coming, guys. And I think the thing that really put that final nail in the coffin for me, the peak pricing was knowing I could live with it on some stuff, was when I said, hey, let's go see Mission Impossible, and it was not supported, when their whole premise is you can see any movie you want. And there's not even a selection in the app anymore to click on an unlisted movie, because sometimes their movie the movie listings weren't right in the app, so you'd have to select an unlisted one. They took that out so no one would game the system, because that was a way to get into things like Mission Impossible.
Yeah, and I just checked my app. All but 2 movies in the theater that I go to are peak pricing for the rest of the day, like starting with their 10 o'clock showings. That's fucking ridiculous, because I live in Idaho. and I guarantee you none of those theaters will be more than 10% full.
Yes, and that's where their BS comes into play, which is it has nothing to do with your specific theater, but your region overall. Trust me, I've been reading the Reddits on this for a while and watching people report stuff. Ugh. And the fact of the matter is, there was one guy in there that goes, I go to a theater that's a $6 matinee, and you're charging me a $6 surcharge, peak pricing to go and see this. He goes, there's absolutely no incentive for me to use MoviePass to do this. He goes, it's costing me more money to use my MoviePass to go see a movie at this theater now.
Yeah, which, I mean, and that's, once it tilts over to that, it's completely worthless. And it was a good idea, and it's one of those ones where somebody had a great idea, they implemented it incorrectly, and then fumbled their business plan 4 different times, and just kept fucking it up. They tried to make changes, but they haven't made a good change yet, so...
I will give them credit in this regard. They have started to change the marketplace a little bit, because do you really think AMC would have put out their own subscription service for movie tickets if people hadn't bought MoviePass en masse?
Yes, it does change the system, because it's an idea where, I mean, it's an idea I love. The idea of I pay a monthly fee and I can go see a movie whenever I want, that's a great idea. It just wasn't implemented correctly.
Right.
So yeah, now we've got at least 2 other services that are trying it, with the AMC one and the Cinema, or whatever the other one is.
Cinemia, I think, is what it's called. I will look it up and put it.
Maybe somebody will get it right. I mean, was Netflix the first streaming service?
I think Netflix was one of the first. I don't know for a fact if they were the first move to streaming, but when they started it, no one thought it would work.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a weird business model. It's like, I mean, and remember, I mean, Netflix was all about DVDs in the mail, and that's how they killed Blockbuster.
Right.
And then it just became an online queue. I think it's now like 90% of the subscriptions to Netflix don't have the DVDs anymore. Like, I would like to go back to getting them again, just because there is stuff that they have on DVD that you can't get in the instant queue. But yeah, once they split the pricing, it's like, yeah, I'll just go with the instant queue. And I mean, yeah, it was a weird business model. It was something that nobody thought would work, but they implemented it correctly, and like they rolled with the punches. Because I remember when Netflix lost their shit because all those shows were being watched on Netflix, and all of a sudden all the companies are like, wait, we have to charge you a lot more to let you borrow these to put them on your service, because you're getting millions of subscribers. And all of a sudden all their contracts went up, and Netflix was like, okay, fine, we'll pay for some and not for others. And they rolled with it, and just still kept making billions of dollars every year. So weird ideas can change the world, just sometimes they don't quite work out the first time.
So, point of order from Sailor Poland in the chat room states, DVDs by mail didn't kill Blockbuster. Blockbuster eliminating late fees killed them, as 60% of their profits, and sometimes more, came from late fees, which I did not realize. Holy shit. So,
well, in all fairness, fuck Blockbuster, because they killed all the mom and pop video stores that I used to love going to, so I did not feel bad at all when Blockbuster died.
I didn't so much either. So real quick, we talked about Cinemia as an alternative to MoviePass. They're running a summer sale right now. There's 4 different tiers you can do. So the first one is 1 movie a month that basically is $3.99 a month. You pay for a year up front, though.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, next one, Willie, we can't hear you very well. Your mic's down.
Well, I'm trying to light a cigarette here, man.
Fair enough. So their next plan is their Classic 2. It's 2 movies per month for $6.99 a month. And this applies for any theater, no blackout days, and there are advanced tickets. If you want something a little more potent, there's what they call their Elite 2, which is 2 movies per month for $8.99, but you get also 3D and IMAX 4DX included in that. So
what's an IMAX 4DX?
I don't know exactly what IMAX 4DX is, I'll be honest.
I want to know what it is.
And then finally, there is their Elite 3 movies per month for $13.99 a month, where you get 3D, IMAX, and regular movies included in that. And evidently, they also have family plans, which I hadn't noticed before.
So what they don't have is an unlimited plan.
They do not have an unlimited plan, but so let's be honest here. How many people who had MoviePass were truly consuming, let's say, upwards of 3 movies a month? I think you're on the edge of that. For those that aren't paying attention, on the audio side, Anthony raised his hand, which is great for our audio podcast listeners.
I was doing roughly 3 to 5 a month.
Right, and I was doing about 2 to 3 a month, or 2 to 4 a month generally, and because I was taking chances on stuff I wouldn't normally see. But if I go and think about the kind of movies I would regularly see in the theaters, it was generally the bigger blockbusters, the Marvel movies, the DC movies. I could probably do the 2 movies per month for what was that, $8.99 a month or $6.99 a month if I didn't want the premium version. And since I don't go to 3D movies, I would just do the $6.99. That's not terrible. That's not a bad idea. The difference is you don't have that option to be like, oh, I want to go see a third movie this month. Oh, I can't use my plan for it. Well, who cares? Just pay your own regular cash. So I'm sort of thinking about looking at Cinemia, but the problem is I think everyone who's fleeing from MoviePass is going to be heading there, and I don't know what that's going to mean for the outlook or the future of that group there. My guess is since it's not unlimited, they can better control the costs. They won't spiral as much out of control because you pretty much cap everyone what they're going to see on there. I don't know.
Oh my god, I just looked up what 4DX is.
What is 4DX, Willie?
Now, you've heard me talk about D-Box, right?
It does include D-Box on here, it says. I just noticed. But yes, what is 4DX?
So it's like D-Box, it looks like, where the seat moves. Oh, wait, no, it does. This looks a little different. It says create strong vibrations, which is not what D-Box is. D-Box is like 3 pistons, which actively move your chair.
See, all I hear there is my drink is getting spilled on me. That's all I hear.
No, it's
I
not
don't know why I would want to fucking sit in a chair
bad.
that's moving.
I don't think it's that much. It's like did you ever do the Star Trek 4D experience in Vegas when that was open? It's probably similar to that, where your chair moved, but it was really only the part you're sitting on, and there were things in the back of the chairs, like the armrests and stuff, were stationary, so your drink's not really going to go fly.
Oh no, the ones I've been to, the cup holder is part of the chair. It doesn't move that bad, even on high setting. It doesn't like spill your drink.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, plus you should have a lid on anyway. What the fuck's wrong with you, you animal?
That's
anyway. It says strong vibrations and sensations, as well as other environmental controls for simulated weather or other conditions, such as lightning, rain, flashing, strobe in parentheses, lights, fog, and strong scents.
Yeah, that's the one that Kevin Smith always talks about because they have it in L.A. And he said like when he went to see Civil War, when they did the scene in the mountains, like it started snowing in the theater.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I'd want to experience that. They do like burnt rubber smell like during car chases, stuff like that, to where it's actually like it's literally trying to do all your senses. Yeah. You know what it reminds me of though? Have any of you guys seen Kentucky Fried Movie?
I have not.
Bachman?
Not for a long time.
Sailor Poland just asked the same thing in the chat room.
It reminds me of the Feel Around skit in it, where a guy comes in. You do know this is in the Feel Around. I think it's Feel Around. I think it's that. Where pretty much like an usher comes, stands behind him. He's like, okay. And it's all about like a woman finds out a man's cheating on him. And he slaps him. All of a sudden the usher slaps him.
Yep.
It's much so like sprays perfume right in his face. And then makes out for him. And has like, and he gets up out of the chair. Oh, I'm out of here. And the whole thing was like, stay tuned for our next Feel Around movie. What was it? Deep Throat.
Deep Throat.
And you just see the usher smile really big.
So looking at 4DX.
Yeah, he said it too.
Yeah, Sailor Poland's in the chat room. Looking at Regal Cinemas, there's only 4 4DX screens they have. Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Orlando, 2 in New York, and 1 in Seattle, Washington. So there's not a ton of these 4DX experiences. But holy crap, man, I'm reading the safety guidelines here they have to post. Must be at least 3.5 feet tall and 4 years or older. No one is permitted to share a seat or sit in their lap. Once the features start, remain seated at all times. Awesome. Do not bring valuables in without taking measures to ensure their safety and security. Do not bring hot liquids such as coffee or tea in. All cold beverages must be in a covered container that fits in the cup holder. Do not eat or drink during intense scenes when the motion chairs will be most active.
Now, they just vibrate. They just says they have like strong vibration.
Take measures to protect clothing against wind, rain-like conditions, bubbles, and strong scents. I want to go and try one of these theaters.
I absolutely do not.
My favorite D-Box experience was the first time I ever used it, which was with the first Guardians of the Galaxy. All the ship flying scenes were like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. Because it's not like strong, like, it's more like, you're whoosh, 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 whoosh.
So if I go to a movie, I wind up at a Gallagher show as Sailor Poland. That seems
I want to be in a Gallagher show. What's wrong with you? Why wouldn't you want to be in a Gallagher show?
That's not for me.
Gallagher's awesome.
All right,
I didn't say it wasn't. I said it's not for me.
I have bitched and moaned and complained about MoviePass enough for today. If you are a current MoviePass subscriber and you're contemplating canceling, go read up on some of their plans. And when you do, let me know which ones you find that look like good ideas so I can know what I need to subscribe to.
Oh,
yes,
God,
I'm crowdsourcing my research here.
There
guys.
you go.
Oh, God, but that 40X, my panties are soaked.
You got a bit of a drive to go do 40X, though, Willie.
I know.
I think the closest one for you is Orlando.
Oh.
Or it might be Washington, D.C., which is closer for you.
DC by far.
DC is
Okay.
Orlando's like 13 hours away.
Oh, yeah. So you can go to D.C. I'll drive over to D.C. It's only a 4-hour trip for me.
We can hang out and get our panties wet together.
Oh.
That sounds even worse.
It'd be a sticky old mess for everybody.
That was nasty.
Ugh.
And we'll take pictures for everybody and we'll sell them for $10 a pop.
Well, how did this get so nasty so fast?
You're talking to Willie, that's how.
Apparently.
So, Anthony, what do you got for your news? Please save us.
It ain't going to save you. Spoiler.
My news of the week is that the deal has finally gone through. The merger is complete. 71, was it 71? Was it ended up at? $71.3 billion purchase of 21st Century Fox properties by the Walt Disney Company. So, like I've always said, the important part for the comic book fans is that the Marvel IP are coming back. The ones that were sold to Disney or sold to Fox back when Marvel was going through bankruptcy. A lot of people are freaking out because, like, oh my God, it's a monopoly. No, it's not a fucking monopoly. Quit using that word. But it's not, because fucking other companies exist. Netflix still has 1,000 IPs. There's still 16,000 different fucking anime and manga videos coming out of Japan that Disney has no part in. Universal is still a theater. The fucking, there's still other franchises that exist. Disney owns a big fucking chunk of them. This is true. They own a large portion. But Time Warner and Warner Brothers are still a thing. People are acting like these other companies are just going to fucking disappear because Disney bought a big chunk of Fox and got some of their own properties back. It's ridiculous. You know what a monopoly is? Diamond Distribution. It's the only company that has any sort of distribution to every single comic book store in America. That's a monopoly. A monopoly means one. As long as there's one other movie studio, Disney's not a monopoly. So quit fucking using that word because you're using it wrong.
We'll just say mono. Mono means one.
Yeah, well, monopoly means one company. So shut up.
I'm helping you out.
No, you're not.
Fuck you.
The merger is going to be, they're going to make a new Fox, which apparently they don't have a name for it other than New Fox yet, which will be the Fox News Channel, the Fox Business Network, Fox Broadcasting, Fox Sports, and the Fox Television Stations Group. So basically they're keeping the sports and the news, and then everything that was, an IP, original programming, all of that stuff is going to Disney. Disney's all now going to own properties like Avatar, The Simpsons, all the shows are on FX and FXX. Marvel gets back the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool, all the related characters, and then of course can do whatever they want with them. So of course now everything's up in the air for what's going to happen post Avengers 4, because Avengers 4 can now be used as a reset point. Because of course we know at some point someone other than Thanos is going to get the gauntlet, and at some point someone's going to reset the universe and bring everybody back. Because no one's going to be shocked that fucking Tom Holland and Chadwick Boseman get brought back to life, because I think Spider-Man and Black Panther, having made a few $1 billion, are probably not going to stay dead. Duh.
Well, my news of the week was Tom Holland saying what the next Spider-Man movie title was.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we know those movies are coming back. I mean, Black Panther made over $1 billion itself. Chadwick Boseman's not going to stay dead. Like, that's a fucking given. What this also does is it gives Disney over 60% shareholder stake in Hulu. So Hulu is now a Disney company. So the one thing that I'm wondering is when they're looking at making Disney's own streaming service, because now they own The Simpsons, they own Family Guy, they own Futurama, all of that stuff plus the FX shows is more than enough to fill a streaming service to compete with Netflix. I mean, it may not have more content than Netflix, but they're going to be damn close when you add in the Disney library, the Marvel library, and all the Star Wars library. Like, that's a lot of content. And so the one thing that I'm wondering is, since they own a 60% stake in Hulu, why don't they just make Hulu the Disney streaming service? Yeah. If they create a second one, then they're competing with themselves while owning Hulu, which doesn't really make any sense to me. The only thing I could see that would make sense is if we get a separate Disney Kids streaming service. where Hulu becomes the Disney streaming service with all the Marvel films, all the Marvel shows, all the Star Wars, but then everything that's just for kids gets put on a separate Disney stuff for all the Disney XD, Disney shows, all the old Disney cartoons. Like that seems like it would make more sense to me, but all that's up in the air. We don't know what they're going to do with it yet, but we know we're getting more movies. And yeah, it's finally done. So hopefully it's one less thing to worry about. It is weird that like one of the big franchises they're getting is Avatar, because at this point, what is James Cameron making like the next 5 at the same time? But we still haven't seen a script for fucking 2, while he's out in the news complaining about people don't need more comic book movies, while he's remaking Dances with Wolves again. Like, what the fuck? I love James Cameron as a director, but I mean, publicly, I think he should just shut up, because no one's really clamoring for Avatar 2 and 3 anymore. His movies made billions of dollars, but I don't know how well multiple sequels of that franchise of Blue Cats is going to do.
Well, we've said it before on this show. Ask someone to tell you the main character's name in Avatar nowadays. It's
Avatar.
Not stuck.
Duh.
Yeah, it's not stuck in the cultural zeitgeist, for lack of a better term, as much as other stuff.
Yeah, it fell off. Yeah, Eddie's returning to Terminator, which, yeah, it's going to be weird now. So with the new Terminator, I think it already started filming, so I guess it's going to be a Fox property. This is going to be a weird one where we're watching, like, X-Men Dark Phoenix will be a Fox movie.
It might not be.
Will be a Fox movie.
If that actually comes out.
There's rumors that Disney
if they come out. Yeah. So if those movies get filmed, if they come out, we're going to see stuff where it was the same thing where when Disney bought Marvel, as contracts ended with toy companies, toy lines got ended. As contracts ended with video or cartoon companies that were doing animation, those contracts got ended, whether the shows were doing well or not. And so we're going to see stuff where now, like, every franchise that's still at Fox that's going over to Disney will end at a certain point, and it will have nothing to do with the popularity of the product. It'll just be, hey, this is when the contract's over. Give us our shit back.
It might not end at a certain point. They just might end them all straight up, because there was rumors floating around that New Mutants is done because Fox wasn't even happy with it. So Disney's probably not going to put that out there. And that Dark Phoenix was rumored to be done just because they would rather
the reshooting they need to do.
Yeah, they'd rather reboot and pull it into the MCU.
Yeah,
and
just
sadly,
cancel whatever they already had filmed.
Yeah. And sadly, I'd much rather see that New Mutants movie than Dark Phoenix. I don't need to see fucking Jean Grey become the Dark Phoenix again, especially with a cast of X-Men I don't give a shit about.
By all accounts, New Mutants was bad and boring, is what was coming out of the early screenings, which is why they went back like a year later and did reshoots that supposedly didn't do much for it. So if you're Disney, do you want one of your first X-Men movies that you put out after buying them to be bad and boring? No.
Yeah, because I mean now if a movie comes out through Fox as part of the X-Men universe, it will have that kind of like stink on it, and it'll transfer over to Disney.
Yeah. So Sailor Paul in the chat room states, I've heard the 2 movies will be on the streaming service. Also heard from a guy who saw one of the test screenings of Dark Phoenix. It sucked.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I just don't want to be like an official release.
Look, the only thing they'll leave untouched probably is Deadpool. Let's be honest.
I hope so.
It's been making a crap load of money.
Well, because I mean, of the last 2 X-Men films, can you remember anything other than Quicksilver?
They ruined having Oscar Isaac as one of their main lead characters there.
Yeah. That's true. They had one of the best actors in the fucking world as one of the coolest characters ever, and it was
Yeah.
I mean,
like
Ivan
the only
Ooze?
cool. Yeah. Then they made him look like Ivan Ooze. Oh,
They really did.
But yeah, it's something where I mean the new streaming services, it could be a cool thing, because like we've heard talk of a possible Star Wars television series set in the Knights of the Old Republic. We've new trilogies, new different Star Wars based shows coming out. All of that'll be on the streaming service. So whether that's Hulu or a separate streaming service, like we're gonna get more Star Wars content, which I'm always up for that. So Disney's gonna be making a whole bunch of stuff, and honestly, I think they're gonna take a run at Netflix. I mean, that has to really be their goal is, hey, can we compete with the biggest streaming service in the world? Because Hulu doesn't do bad, but it could use some help. What of the properties coming over, what are you guys most excited to see?
Fantastic Four.
Mutants.
Yeah, the being able to put
I didn't think about Fantastic Four. Yes, Fantastic
Doctor
Four.
Doom. That's exactly why right there, because they have not gotten Doctor Doom right on screen yet. Do you really think Kevin Feige is going to screw up Doctor Doom? No.
Yeah, I could see that being Kevin Feige's swan song, because he's been doing this for quite a while, like Avi Arad did back in the day. At some point, Kevin Feige is going to be done.
He supposedly got offered the keys to Star Wars and turned it down.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not going to keep working for decades, but at some point he's going to be done. And I could see that being like the thing that he like puts his hat pin in is, hey, I got Doctor Doom right. Everybody can kiss my ass. Not like he isn't the architect of the biggest franchise in movie history already. But yeah, if he nails Doctor Doom and they get the FF right, which, hello, we've seen it. They called it The Incredibles, but that was a fucking Fantastic Four movie. The Fantastic Four can be done correctly on screen. It just takes fucking the right writer and the right director. It can be done. So yeah, that's what I'm most excited for. Seeing the mutants replace the Inhumans, now that Inhumans, did very poorly on anything except for the S.H.I.E.L.D. show. I mean, it's something that needs to be done in the MCU because you need like that other cast of weirdos and people with strange powers that can't be explained through science or armored suits. So not everybody's running around as a Tony Stark Jr. They need, those other characters. But yeah, it's the FF. Getting that family dynamic super team in there with, the genius that is Reed Richards. And, I mean, unstable molecule fabric, man. I want some umph. Like, we need people with suits that don't get destroyed so that Hulk can finally get a pair of pants that hang around.
I just want, hopefully, for Phase 5, Secret War. That's what I want. Just imagine it. Every movie is just them landing on the planet, the individual people landing somewhere separately, and then the final one, the Avengers, when they all group up, they all just get together for that one. They all find each other. Dun 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 dun.
It'd be interesting.
There you go. That's for a whole Phase 5 storyline for you. It makes it easy peasy, and you reuse sets. Take it, Disney.
The crazy thing is, now that we've seen Infinity War, we know it's possible. We know they can do an actual summer crossover comic book event as a movie. Like, it's fucking insane. Yeah, but we have reached that point.
It gets progressively harder the more of those you try to do. That's
true.
That's the problem. The bar gets higher and higher, and can you imagine the stress that would come with being the director? I don't know how the Russo brothers did it for Infinity War and presumably Infinity War Part 2. How they did those movies without going insane, having to juggle so many different things.
Because there's two of them.
Well,
there's two of them, and apparently,
too much
for one man. They had every other Marvel Universe director on set to help give them input. So,
yeah, there you go, including a James Gunn. He helped him.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he helped with the Guardians dialogue.
Was Sean Gunn there to fill in for Rocket still?
Yes, I believe he was.
Probably.
For Avengers.
Yeah. As far as I know, he's the only person shot on screen as Rocket for the stand-in. So,
and didn't they also have someone else too for Rocket in the first movie? At least they had a little person.
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I thought I remember seeing something like they had two. I had Sean Gunn and this other person. I think from seeing like the special features.
Well, it's possible.
My memory could be very wrong, so take that as it is.
I shall then.
We'll just assume that Willie's wrong and move forward.
That's generally what I go forward with my plans. So we're gonna move the show forward, and as we wrap things up, we do a little segment.
Wait! I have new news that just came in.
Nope.
Fuck you guys.
So
that's not new.
As we wrap things up, we have a second to last segment, called "What's Going On the Gonna Geek Network," where we throw things to Willie Nelson.
Good thing I did that interruption because you almost just went to what I'm into.
Almost did. So for those that aren't aware, the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast is in fact part of the Gonna Geek Network. There's 25 plus different shows on the network that cover a variety of topics. We can't very well tell you about every show on the network, but we can give you a taste of another show and say, hey, you guys might want to go check this one out. So Willie, what show are we talking about this week?
This week, we're talking about All Things Good and Nerdy, episode 322, where Willie calls out on Chris's shit.
How's that working out for you?
It's pretty funny. I'm doing it right now. No, I'm just fucking with you, buddy. No, but this week. Let me get into it. This week, I'm talking about the Starling Tribune, a CW Network Arrow television show fan podcast. Season 6 edition.
Helen Hunt. The Starling Tribune reporters Stargate Pioneer and Michelle go Chrisless this week and review The Legends of Tomorrow, 6th episode of Season 3, titled Helen Hunt, and discuss some recent news surrounding the DC Comics-based CW superhero shows. The reporters discuss Martin Stein's Freaky Friday Hall Pass, rate the Wave Riders Captain for the Week, and try to figure out what the rank for our captain anyway. Back to you, Chris.
Why, thank you, Willie. So, guys, you can head over to GonnaGeek.com, click on the network button. You can see all of the other shows that are on the network. We really do encourage you guys to go check them out. So that does...
How was that? How was that? Was that a good voice?
That was superb. I liked it.
Really? Would you call it a superb owl?
No, I would not. It was not very owl-like. But that does take us to the end of the show. As we wrap things up, we do so with our traditional bit called What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with you guys who are watching live or listening at a later date just what kind of geeky and nerdy things we've been getting into, so that maybe, just maybe, you'll want to check them out yourselves. Willie, kick us off. What have you been getting into, sir?
Back pain. So much back pain is still there, but I think it's going away. Last night, I got to go to sleep without taking any NyQuil, so that was good. Because the previous night, the night before, was it Friday night? Yep, I couldn't sleep at all because of the pain, and I was out of NyQuil. I was like, Jesus Christ, I need some NyQuil, but I can't sleep, and there's no 24/7 stores open right now. But, yeah, so pulling a back muscle is fucking sucks. Don't grow old, everybody. Stay young forever.
Says the youngest person on the show.
Yeah.
Well, probably the most active, too.
Says the guy sitting on his couch.
I meant sexually active. Ba-doom.
Whatever.
My countless STDs.
I'm going to let you have this one,
resume.
Willie. Willie, you can just have this one.
My countless STDs are my resume. I mean, because Willie doesn't wrap it up.
Nobody needs to know that.
I've said that many times. Don't wear condoms,
You know what
kids.
I say
They're
every
getting
time?
away.
I say every time that nobody needs to know that.
I saw something I hope was a joke where apparently some kids, since they didn't want to wear condoms, they superglued the tip of their dick. God, I hope that's just a fucking joke and no one really did that, because how would you urinate afterwards? Like,
don't.
Oh, I'm pulling it off. Oh, if it gets in the urethra a little, oh, I never want to have a catheter ever. I don't even want to think of that. But did I see any new movie this week? I don't think I watched any new movies this week. I did start watching Bob's Burgers a whole lot more. I started getting back into that. I stopped watching for a long time, mostly because I used to watch it with the ex-wife and enjoyed it. So I was like, well, it's still a little memory there. Like, God damn it. But I'm still enjoying it. So there, take that. That's something, right?
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
I mean, if you want me to light up a cigarette, go for it. Right, I'll do it right now.
You can do what you want. It was just an expression.
But I've been playing a whole lot more Overwatch. Oh yeah, since I couldn't sleep for Saturday morning, let's say, I just got up out of bed at 4. I was like, I just can't sleep. This is just painful. Might as well be up doing something if I'm just gonna be enjoying this pain anyway, right? So I jumped on Overwatch, and from what I hear, I think they actually combine the American servers with the European servers on Overwatch. I think. So I was playing with a couple people from, like, a person from France, someone from Sweden, someone from Norway. Yeah, apparently English is pretty good over there. I mean, I wasn't gonna, say anything bad about them if they did. I was like, so where are you guys' accents from? Like, where are you guys from? I was a little curious. And we got a lot of wins, so that was nice. I was in back pain and got some of those W's. So that was pretty good. Made some new friends.
Not too shabby.
Want to call out to my friend on the PlayStation Network too, so like I've been doing. Lord Crom. That's his name, Lord_Crom. Thank you for being a good buddy on Overwatch, and I'm sorry you couldn't make it to work for SpaceX program. He almost got there. He was almost best buddies with Elon Musk. So continue on. I'll probably interrupt someone when I remember something else.
When you remember something else. So you might not cut someone else off, but I'll go next with what
That's
I'm
more
getting
than
into.
likely.
My stuff's pretty simple. Been a little busy with work, but this morning before the show started, I finished my marathon session of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. All 5 seasons knocked out. I will be setting the season pass for season 6 and hopefully more beyond that. Been greatly enjoying that. Mentioned yesterday I went and saw Mission Impossible 6. It's a really good movie, guys. I know Tom Cruise is a nut job, but the Mission Impossible movies, they're fun, and they do some ridiculous, crazy, over-the-top action stuff that wasn't given away in the trailers that was fun. And Henry Cavill is a badass in that movie. I really enjoyed Henry Cavill's role.
But how was his mustache?
His mustache was fantastic. I saw this morning on Twitter, someone was saying, "Oh, the truth emerges about Henry Cavill's mustache that ruined Justice League," where they basically said, well, we liked the look when he came in. We weren't committed to a mustache, but he had a beard. We trimmed it down and liked the mustache. So, like, this is what ruined Justice League. And I'm like, but it's not. I don't think Henry Cavill's mustache having to be CGI'd ruined Justice League. But that's neither here nor there.
Just made it worse.
I think it's me feeling bored through most of it is what ruined it.
Did you see the wrap gift for the Mission Impossible crew from what is it, Universal Pictures?
No, I did not. Paramount, I think.
Paramount. They gave them coins that had Henry Cavill's head on it, and it was Tom Cruise parachuting in, where the parachute was the mustache.
That's awesome.
So they literally have coins with the mustache on it.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question here, since you brought up Tom Cruise being awesome in it. What was the point where you were okay with Tom Cruise after the whole Scientology thing? What point were you like, I'm okay with Tom Cruise?
I still think he's a nutty guy, but
I can name exact point.
What's the exact point?
Tropic Thunder.
Okay.
When I saw him in Tropic Thunder, I was like, you know what, Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
You made me respect you again.
I don't think I was ever not okay with Tom Cruise, just because, he's a nut. Okay, well, he's a nut. So what?
I didn't think he's not one of the crazy bad. Let's put it that way. Yeah, he's in a cult, but whatever. He's not like out there raping people or beating women and things like that.
At least that we know of so far.
Yeah, that we know of. He's just.
I mean, the tabloids will have you say that Katie Holmes was abused.
Yeah, he's just a little out there and likes to jump on Oprah's couch. So he's a weird dude. He's weird. Let's just be honest.
And short.
Well, he wears lifts, so he's not as short. But that's neither here nor there.
No, he's still short. Lifts don't make you tall. They just make you appear tall.
Like a draftsman says, he's an artist. He can believe what he wants. Do not try to convert me, and we are cool.
And from what I've heard, people that have worked with him, like, it's something that's not even brought up on set.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
Oh my God! What if his mission, if he chose to accept it, is to infiltrate the Scientology network?
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my God! I just broke it. You just heard it here, folks. New breaking story here. Let's cut what I'm into. We're doing a new segment.
So it is interesting, though, on Mission Impossible. This franchise is, 22 years old now? This is their 6th movie? Holy crap.
Something like that, yeah.
96,
I think,
for a
was the
while.
first one?
I was 13 when the first one came out. Oh, no, 96?
96 was the first one.
I was 10.
Yeah, I was 12.
Fuck you, children.
I turned 11 that year. I turned 11. It wasn't till October.
I was in the Navy.
Were you sailing the 7
seas?
In
No,
the Navy.
I was still in school at that point. I hadn't got to my ship. But yeah, I was already in the military.
You didn't get your ship together yet?
I had 2 years of schooling before I got sent to a ship.
It was my pun. Let it go.
It wasn't funny.
Chris laughed.
I laughed. I thought it was funny.
That doesn't mean it's funny.
One of the last things I've been getting into is I picked up a new podcast because some of the stuff I listen to is on hiatus right now.
Was it heavy?
So I started listening to Chris Jericho's podcast called Talk is Jericho. I don't care about some of the stuff in there. He's a huge music fan. Some of the music stuff I don't care about as much, but I like listening back to his stories about wrestling and stories on the road and talking to wrestlers and stuff like that. And that's been really entertaining. I think Chris Jericho is a fairly entertaining, captivating guy. I've read 3 of his 4 books that are out, I think, that are all about his life story, his biography, things like that. So I've really enjoyed Talk is Jericho. It's got a lot of ads in it, but whatever. Ads are ads. That's how they make the money.
I've heard the story. I don't know if he tells it on his podcast or anything, but I've heard of a story where he actually got into an actual altercation with Brock Lesnar, and he took him down.
And Bill Goldberg, supposedly.
Ho, ho, ho.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
I've heard bad stories about Goldberg in the ring. Like, he's very stiff.
Well, he doesn't have much of a move set. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he spears
Well, and he was a
people.
pro. He was a football player too. He wasn't like an actor first or a wrestler first. He was a football player. Like his actual training was to actually hit people as hard as possible.
Yes.
It's hard to untrain that.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff I've been getting into. Anthony, wrap us up. What have you been getting into, sir?
I've been getting into. I watched a bunch of Hulu. I got all caught up on a Cloak and Dagger, which I still don't like the new origin, but the show is great. The special effects and how they built up the characters of Tandy and Tyrone are really good. The actors are fantastic in their roles.
I didn't even know that was out.
Yeah, it's I think there's 7 or 8 episodes deep now. It's coming out on Freeform, so you can watch it on that website, or it's also on Hulu.
Is it all available on Hulu, or is it like stopping after like 5 episodes? Like,
the last I checked, all 7 were available on Hulu. Like I just watched through almost all of it last weekend. I watched like the first 5 or 6, and then I caught up on episode 7, I think, this weekend. Then I watched all of Atlanta between Friday and yesterday, which that show it's definitely as weird and as good as people said. It's fucking Donald Glover is just super goddamn talented. There's not much that kid can't do. And it's awesome seeing him, in a show where he's writing, directing, producing, being part of like everything involved. It's a really good show. And it definitely starts off strange in the pilot, and then it kind of takes a turn, and it's not really what you think the show's going to be. But it's really entertaining. It was a really good season to watch. I'm excited to see season 2 come back. I started watching Shadowhunters because I got caught up on all my other shows on Hulu. And that one's another one of those funny ones where it's, there's a world where demons are real and humans don't know about it. And there's a hidden war that's going on. But I got a good laugh out of it because when you have shows like Supernatural and Charmed, they kind of like ease you into stuff. And so, it's like the first pilot, they'll show you like a little bit of the world. You get a glimpse of magic. Fucking Shadowhunters said, no, fuck you, bullshit. By the end of the pilot, you've been introduced to the good guys, the bad guys, magic shit going haywire, crazy fucking demons being killed. Like, it goes batshit crazy what most shows of a supernatural origin do in like their first 8 episodes. Shadowhunters did that in the first pilot. So it's fucking hilarious because they're like, yeah, either you're with us or you're not. Just catch up because we got story to tell. Like, they do not ease you in at all. I was actually laughing about how fast it was going during the first episode. But it's really good. It's got Isaiah Mustafa on it, which most people would know as the Old Spice guy. He plays a badass cop who's also part of the magical world. It seems like a really fun show. I've watched like the first 3 episodes so far. I'm enjoying it. It's another one, to go hand in hand with like Supernatural and the Vampire Diaries, all those weird Supernatural CW type shows. But it's a fun one. I started watching it because of was Catherine McNamara is the main star. She was on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, Inside of You, where he talked to her for an hour or so, and she was really fucking funny. And I had never heard an interview or anything with her and hadn't watched that show. And the way they were talking about it, I was like, oh, that show sounds interesting. So yeah, I give it a shot. Shadowhunters, it seems pretty fun. I did poorly in the fantasy movie league. I made a bad decision, which apparently I think Willie also made the same bad decision this weekend. So the points on there stuck. Yeah. Looking forward to today. We are drafting for the Fantasy Comic League for our last month of the season going into August, which is going to be fun and crazy because the Fantastic Four is back. So the August books will have the return of the Fantastic Four, the death of the Inhumans, Infinity Wars, and the start of the Edge of Spider-Geddon, the new Spider-Man crossover book. So there's going to be a ton of new stories starting and taking off next month. So it's going to make the draft really crazy today. And then yesterday, I went back through. I've backed about 220 Kickstarters. So I have a lot of messages and a lot of activity. Every time a Kickstarter gets updated, I get a message, I get an email. It's goddamn ridiculous. But what I also have is, of the 200 some odd Kickstarters I've backed, about 130 of them have sent me messages on Kickstarter about specific things. So you have a message that you can respond back to people on Kickstarter if a creator sends you a message. Of those 130, about 118 of them are individual ones where I haven't done. It's not a repeat person like Jimmy Palmiotti. I backed like 6 of his books. I went back through, and of like the 118 that are all different ones, I sent all 118 a message yesterday saying, hey, I'm working on my second Kickstarter. It's, trying to get funded. We got a week left. And I had been stuck at that $398 for like 8 days. And it was fucking driving me nuts that I was $2 short of the halfway point. And so it was just fucking annoying. So yeah, I sent like 118 messages on Kickstarter yesterday. And as is the average, about 10% responded. And of those 10%, about 6 or 7 of them actually went and pledged on the Kickstarter. So I jumped from $398 up to $477. So I've got 33 backers now, $477 out of the $800. So we got 6 days to go. It was going to end next Sunday on the show live at 10 a.m. my time Mountain. So it's 6 days and a couple hours. And so, yeah, I'm still trying to get the last $333. So I got $333 to go in the next 6 days for the project to fund. And I guess Willie will be backing it next Sunday. Is that your plan? He was trying to say ethically last, but he muted himself.
You think I got money for this?
I don't care if you have money or not. I want to pledge.
I'll pledge you, but that's going to come back a negative. You got 7 days to fix it. Okay.
That's true. You have 7 days to fix it. But yeah, it's if it doesn't pass the $800 goal on August 5th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, it won't be funded. Nobody gets charged anything. And I don't know. I'll probably redo it later. But for right now, yeah, we're looking at still trying to get $333. So for everybody that's backed it and pledged, thank you very much. For those of the people that have shared and retweeted, thank you very much. A couple of my Navy buddies backed this one again, just like last time, and my family can kiss my ass because once again, I tagged every member of my family that's on Facebook about it, and not a single fucking member of my family has backed this project. None of them backed the last one. None of them backed this one. My family is not fucking helpful. My friends, my Navy buddies, all helpful. My family sucks.
I mean, I hear that's a very popular category on Pornhub to fuck your family, but be careful about that.
Yeah, must be. I don't know.
I see what you did there.
That's what I've been getting into. So I'll be spending the next week, finishing the draft, and then fucking trying to get this Kickstarter funded.
Yeah, we got a redraft today. I took second place this month, which I'm kind of happy about because I'll get to keep one last character. I think I'm still in the overall lead though for the month, so we'll see if I can stretch out a lead.
Yeah, I'm tied for the lead. We have 2 people with 6 points in Danger Room. 1 person with 5. 1 person with 4. So it's a real tight race at the end. But I came in 4th, so I could keep up to 3 of my team. I'm only keeping Storm because she's going to be in a bunch of fucking books next month, and I'm hoping I get a draft good for the second pick.
Chris, I just had an idea. You know what that usually means.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Exactly.
Mute him. Mute Willie. Mute him.
Here's Willie's idea.
Maybe we should be the first podcast actually sponsored by Pornhub.
I don't think that we would be the first. There's probably other ones out there.
Actually sponsored by them, though? We could have our own tab on their website, their own category of all things nerdy. It'd be on top. It'd be up there.
I'll do it.
I would wear shirts. I don't care.
I got no shame. I'll wear booty shorts.
I already am right now.
Yeah, but I'll wear them the ones that say Pornhub.
Willie, don't stand up. Whatever you do not stand up right now.
Why do you think my camera's been going off every so often? I've been very conscientious about it.
Well, we appreciate it. And we also appreciate everyone that joined us for the live show today over on Geeks.live, the streaming home of the Gonna Geek Network.
Chris, I want you to slow your roll right quick.
Oh,
this is not part of what I'm into because I haven't watched it in the past week. But I'm really highly recommending everyone. It's all on Hulu, all first 2 seasons. Watch Dirk Gently, Holistic Detective Agency. Watch it. Trust me.
Isn't it already canceled?
Well, for the 3rd season, but the first 2 are really enjoyable and they're self-contained. So it's not like part of ongoingness that you really need to, but I wish they would ongo it because it is such a good show. Highly recommended.
All right, so there's one last recommendation from Willie. So that is going to wrap us up for this week. Don't forget, we stream live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, over on Geeks.live, which is the streaming home of the Gonna Geek Network. Okay, Dressman wins.
Thanks, Dressman.
For those on audio who don't get to see the chat room, Dressman said, guys, please approach Chatterbait, Pornhub, and Free Cams because there's not a bigger circle jerk than this show.
Oh, yeah. And I found a ghost.
I will even have a tattoo on my butthole that says the Pornhub right there. Oh. And I'll show it live for everybody.
Nobody wants to see that, Willie.
Hey,
it's where the O is your butthole?
Yeah.
Why?
Pornhub.
All right, we're gonna.
I'm not even gonna shave for it either.
We're gonna shut this thing down. Final thoughts. You got like 15 seconds. Get him out. Just do it.
No one wants to see that, Willie. No one. Ever. ever.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you all next week.
Go back my
review next
Kickstarter.
week. Big review
Thanks
next
for
week.
listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek radio app, and over at our network home at GonnaGeek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@GonnaGeek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at Incompetech.com.